Hi everyone, it's Dolly with Crafty Mermaid Mom. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend and I hope you're having fun. So today I'm going to attempt to show you guys how I make my Memorydex cards, or the process that I use in creating my Memorydex cards. So for those of you who do not know what Memorydex cards are, they have been around for a while and they were probably most popular at the time that Heidi Swapp started making her Memorydex products. So let me back up and explain what a Memorydex card is and where it originated from. So for those of you who are around my age, you will know that before computers, what we used to keep addresses were these little index cards that went onto a roller like this. And it wasn't always a roller like this. Sometimes you could keep it in a little file box and you just filed these information address cards into that box or onto this little roller. So with that said, a few years ago, Heidi Swapp came out with the greatest idea, and I'm not sure if it originated from her, so don't quote me on this, but she did come out with a bunch of products in order to create these little index cards, which she called Memorydex cards. So they're so much fun to make, and I have to admit that these are probably one of my very favorite craft items, only because they're easy to make, they're fun to make, and they're easy to store because they are so small and you can share them with friends. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to show you, like I said, my process on how to make these cards, because everybody does them differently. And when Heidi Swapp came out with the punch that actually punches the bottom of this, they were really handy. They were convenient because these square punches, it's almost impossible to find one of these. Usually the normal punch we have are these round hole punches. And so when Heidi Swapp came out with this punch right here, it made making Memorydex cards so much easier because of this punch. Well, this kind of phased out a little bit, and let me tell you why. Because some people really loved Memorydex cards, like myself, and then a lot of people really didn't really care for them. So I think what happened was it kind of phased out. So about a year ago, I was on the hunt for this Heidi Swapp index punch. And I must have gone into every single craft store there was, and I could not find it. So finally I checked on eBay, and you guys, I just happened to find one, and it was brand new. So I snatched that up so quick, and this is it. So then a couple months later, I tried going back on eBay to see if anybody had put maybe a used one, or if maybe there was a new one that was on there. And I couldn't find anything. I wanted to buy another one because I wanted to use it as a giveaway, and I could not find it. So it's very hard to find these now. I have looked on eBay for other index type punches, and I've seen this really small gadget, but it was really costly. So I'm really glad that I got this punch when I got it. But the reason why I wanted to do this tutorial is I wanted to let you guys know that you don't have to have these square punches in order to make a Memorydex card. And I'm going to show you how to do that today, okay? So before we get started, let me show you some of the Memorydex cards that I have created that you can create as well. And they're so much fun because they are so small that they don't take up a lot of room. So if you gift this to somebody, not only are you giving them a little piece of what you have created and your art style, you're also giving them your address or your phone number or your birth date and every information that they might need to know about you, which is so great. All right, so this is the first one that I have created, and as you guys know, I love anything Hawaii. And so I had taken this picture from an old puzzle box. It belonged to my daughter, and I wanted to save it. And all I did was fussy cut this out, and then also took this picture, which was a die cut, and I also fussy cut this out, and then I have a die that says loved, and I went ahead and used that. I just cut the D off and created this very simple Memorydex card. I also added some silk flowers to this, which I thought made her dress stand out, and I loved how this turned out, you guys. So let me show you what I usually do on the back. And what I will do is a pocket. Now, my friend Debbie Williams first introduced the pocket to me. She had sent me a Memorydex card, and she had glued a pocket on the back. So now when I make my Memorydex cards, because I want to add more information to what I'm putting on this, and sometimes just the back of the card doesn't provide me with enough room, I like to put my own card where I can, you know, put all of my information and I have enough room to put whatever it is that I want to write. So that is my first Memorydex card, and they slide perfectly into this. So this right here is a fairy themed Memorydex card, and I love this cute little fairy. I had taken this from a fairy book that I had, and I just fussy cut this picture out along with the butterfly, and then added these white paper flowers and the pearls to it, and then I just added the word memories on here. And I thought that came out so nice. And it only took a few little pieces to fill up this card and make it look so pretty. So the back of this, again, is a little pocket with an informational card. Of course, I haven't completed this card yet, but I will add my name, address, birthday, or whatever it is that you want to add on there to the card. You can add. So that was my fairy themed one, and that goes right in here. The next one, of course, I had to do one in a mermaid theme, and this was really easy as well. Another picture that I had fussy cut out from a paper pad that I had, and then this is a piece of chipboard sticker that I got. So a lot of these pieces were just cutouts and stickers, and it says "Be Amazing," and that's how easy it is. You can just make it, you know, however you want to. You don't necessarily have to put a lot of work into it. It's just a lot of cutting and combining. So this was very easy. This was probably one of the easiest ones to make, and I just used this really pretty striped background paper to complete this card. And then on the back, this is a little different. I did make a pocket, and this one you can't really fit as much information, but if you write small enough, you can. So that is my little pocket for this one. Okay. So here I have another fairy themed Memorydex card, and this paper was just some leftover paper I had from a Bo Bunny fairy themed paper pad that I was working with, and I just added the word believe in gold. I added a few rhinestones in the lavender or purple, a doily in the background, and I fussy cut this out as well as this little flag. And this flower right here was a gift from my friend Fiona. So I thought the colors just all meshed so perfectly. And then the back of this is another pocket and another information card, which you can just pull out and open up to add all of your information. So that one was a lot of fun. I love this paper that I used. And then the next one was very easy, and this is more of a nautical theme. I had this chipboard sticker from my friend Alicia, who also loves anything ocean themed, and so these, I believe, were also from Alicia. These are just stickers, gold stickers, which went perfectly with this. I just added some yellow rhinestones, and then this chipboard that says Côte d'Azur, also from my dear friend. And then I used this paper, which was from a totally separate paper pad. I believe it was like a travel paper pad, and that was it really. And then on the back here is the pocket, and I wanted to make the card stand out, so I used a different colored paper on this, and I just have to write my information in there. So the last one that I have here is made from a paper pad that I had that I had a bunch of pieces of remnants of, and so I decided, I believe it was called Midnight Berry, this one. Don't quote me, but I think that's what it was called. And that's the fun part about making these Memorydex cards, you guys. You know, we all have these extra sheets of maybe 4x4s or 5x5s or 6x6s that are just sitting around. You can make so many pieces of Memorydex cards just using your remnants. So this one I kind of wanted to incorporate a shabby chic feel. So I did use my dies. I have a die set that consists of sewing items as well as dress forms. So I used that. I added a little bit of lace and ribbon. It came out really nice. So the back of this does not have any information on it. So, you know, I can always add that to it, or I can write on here with a gold pen. It's really up to me how I want to do that, but I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. So, like I was saying, with these, you don't necessarily need the square punches. You can work with your regular circle punch, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so what you're going to need, let's go ahead and put these aside. And you guys, what you're going to need today is, of course, your paper cutter. Okay, so get your paper cutter out. You're going to need your scoreboard. You're also going to need a ruler. You're going to need your glue, scissors, your hole punch. If you have one of these Heidi Swapp index punches, go ahead and bring that out because you'll need that as well. And if you like to use the corner rounder, take out your corner rounder. You'll need a pen and you'll need all of your scrap paper. If you have this We Are Memory tab punch board, go ahead and bring it out because it does help sometimes. Okay, and then also if you have an index tab punch, bring that out as well. If you don't have one of these and you have one of these square punches, bring that out because you can use these to make the tabs as well. Okay. All right, so what I wanted to show you first, I'm going to move some of these aside, is that all you need to create these Memorydex cards are 4x4 pieces of paper. Now, we want to start with a 4x4 because that's basically what your index card size is going to be. And let me explain it to you from top to bottom is what I mean when I say 4x4. So here is a 4x4 piece of paper that has a tab. Now this one does not have a tab. All I've done is kind of indent the corners to make it stand out. So if you measure this, you will see that these actually measure 4x4. So right here, this is 4 inches from top to bottom, okay, by 4 inches. Same with this one right here. This is going to be 4x4. And when I say 4x4, I mean from the longest sides, here to here, not here to here. Okay, so the rest of your card, even though your tab is on there, as long as your tab to the bottom is 4 inches, you should be good. And you guys, there's no rule to this. You can make your index cards any size you want. But if you're trying to fit them on one of these index card holders, the important thing to remember is that your spacing on these holes have to be the right spacing, okay? So, like I said, you need the 4x4. So let's go ahead and put these back. So let's go ahead and take our 4x4 sheets. Okay, so here is a 4x4 right there, okay? So what I like to do is I like to make my cards a little thicker, and I've received Memorydex cards that weren't doubled. So like this one, you could feel it's really, really hard because I like a double backing. You can either make them two-sided or you can make them single-sided. It's really up to you, but just keep in mind that if you plan to keep your Memorydex card for a long time, you want to make sure they're thick. So you may want to double the paper and use 2 pieces of paper and glue those together so that you get 2 sides. Now, that's strictly up to you, like I said. So what I like to do, because I like them to be a little bit more sturdy, instead of cutting out a 4x4 paper, what I will do is I will cut out a 4x8 paper and fold it in half. And then I can just glue this together and I've got a thicker card. Does that make sense? I just feel like I prefer for my index cards to last longer because I am going to be shuffling through them constantly when I'm looking for information. And of course, you know, you guys are probably thinking, oh my gosh, like she's a dinosaur. Why does she want to put her information in an index card? Because for me, it gives me not only your information, but it gives me a chance to see your style and what kind of things you like. So that's the only reason why. And I get to have a little something that you have created and I get to keep it for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside because now here we have our 4x4s. Okay, this is the 4x8, which I'm using to make thicker, so I'm doubling. Okay, that I've used the Heidi Swap punch on with the squares. But like I said, not everybody has this Heidi Swap punch, so you can also do it using your hole punch. So you guys, because I like to double my cards like this to make them thicker, I don't mind writing on the inside because this is going to be covered up anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and from one side, from the left side to the right, you're going to mark it at 1.5 inches and then 2.5 inches. So here is my 1.5 inch line or mark. Here is my 2.5 inch mark. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper punch, and let me show you on this 4x4 right here. Okay, so we're going to take this, and all I'm going to do is, let's see here, I'm going to okay, so I'm going to mark at 1.5 and I'm going to mark at 2.5, which is right here. Okay, so that is where my hole punches are going to be. And then you're probably wondering, well, how do I know how high to go? So for your hole punch, what you want to do is you only want to start the very bottom of the hole at about 1/8 of an inch, which is really pretty much easy to just eyeball. So I would say around there. Okay, so I'm going to make sure this is the very bottom of where my hole punch is. So I'm going to put it closer. Can you guys see this right here? So I'm going to take my hole punch and center it, but I'm going to make sure to punch right above that little dot that I just made. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, and there's my 2 hole punches, you guys. And all you need to do then, you could either just cut straight like that, or if you want to make a little tiny pathway, you could do that for the little pieces to go through. So there you have your little hole punches, and they fit perfectly onto this little holder. So that's how you make your little holes using just the hole punch. So now I'm going to show you the process that I go through when I make mine. Okay, so here I have already punched this out, and all I'm going to do then is glue this together. Okay, and it doesn't take a lot of glue, you guys. I just want to make sure that I have enough glue on here. Okay, so now this is glued together, and I can just start punching this using the corner rounder to get this into a more finished look. Okay, so you could either create your own index tab for this, or if you have one of these tabs, you could make these. But what I like to do is I like to use my punch board tab, which I know a lot of you don't have, so I'm going to show you also how to make it without the punch board tab. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just make a center. I'm going to make a center tab for this one. Okay, and so with this tab, I just cut out these portions right here because I just kind of eyeball it. Okay, And then I could also round these corners. So there, you have a nice rounded corner on this. That is one way to do it. And if you don't want to do it this way, you could make your own. And let me show you how to make your own tab. So here you go. So here you have your paper. And what I do usually is I will take this piece, which is 4 by 4, and I will usually cut 1/2 inch off the top to allow for my tab. So as you can see, this is the 4 by 4. I just cut about 1/2 inch off the top. And then this way you can add your own little tab, and let me show you. You can just glue that on. This is punched out. This is punched out using my tab punch. But again, you don't have to have a tab punch. If you know, if you don't have one, you can make your own. And you could use almost any punch, you guys. Not any punch, but you could use a lot of your punches. So here is one that you just made using a tab punch, but if you do not have one of these, you guys can also use a square punch. And let me give you an example of that. You can just take any paper that you have. Let me go ahead and use this one. Okay, so I have this piece of paper. All I do is I usually just fold it in half, and then I will use my corner rounder on the top portions of it. And there I've made my own little tab. You see that? Just like this. And I can use that if I wanted to make this into my tab instead of this one. Let me show you how that looks. So there's another handmade tab, you guys. And if you wanted to, I don't have my circle punch with me, but as an example, let me show you. So if I were to, let me do something really quick here. Okay, so pretend I have my circle punch, okay? And here's, oops, that's not quite a circle, but let me see if I can make kind of somewhat of a circle. I'm not very good at making circles on my own, you guys, so I always need my circle punch, but I'm just showing you an example of what you can do with your circle punch. So let's say you have a circle, okay? Here's your circle punch. All you're gonna do is you're gonna cut that in half. And then there is your tab right there. You can use this as a tab as well. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how to make one using your circle punch, which I'm so sorry. I know my circle's not perfect. So let me go ahead and clear this because I'm going to show you how to make the other parts of this. So now we've learned how to make the handmade holes at the bottom, and we also learned how to do the tabs on the top. The next thing that I'm going to show you is how to make the little pockets on the back of these. So you have your index card right here. So all you're going to do, you guys, is you're going to take a piece of paper that's going to measure about 2 by 4, and you can do any size you want. It does not have to be in this 2 by 4. But you're going to cut a 2 by 4 piece of paper, and all I've done is, let me see here, so here is my 2 by 4, okay? All right, so here's my 2 by 4 sheet of paper, you guys. And all I've done basically is I have taken, sorry for all the racket, I've taken my bone folder and I have measured, or I have scored at 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to take the sides and do the same thing and score at 1/4. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the other side at 1/4 inch. Okay, so now I've scored here, here, and here. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these edges off, or these corners, not edges, sorry, because I want the pocket to have a little bit more room. So I'm just going to cut these off just like that. I'm gonna fold these in like this. Okay, and there I have my pocket, okay, which is how I made this one right here. So now I have my pocket. All I need to do is glue that on there, okay? So I'm gonna take this pre-scored sheet of paper and I'm gonna add my glue. All I need to do is stick that right here. Hold it down for a while. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is only a tutorial. All right, sorry, I'm talking to myself, you guys. All right, so there you have it. You have your little pocket, and then you just cut your pieces of paper that fit right into here. And then in this case, I believe this piece measured at 3 by 2.5, okay? So this is a 3 by 2.5 sheet, and it fits perfectly in here. And then also, if you want your sheet to be bigger, you can take a longer sheet, a 2.5 by 6, and fold it over so that you have more room to write all of your information, and that fits perfectly into this as well. And then you can go ahead and design the front of it. That's all you have to do. So in this case, yes, this is the front and this is the back. So easy as that, you guys. And let me see what else. I think that was it. Oh, here, let me show you this. Another thing that you can do, you can have so much fun with these Memorydex cards, you guys. So for this one, I had used my mini 8-punch doily punch, and I took 1/4 of the circled doily and cut it out. And you guys, you can just stick it to your card. Let's make this. I'll show you. I'll give you an example. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as my Memorydex card, okay? I want to double this up, so I'm using an 8 by 4, and I'm just going to glue that together. And I want to make sure that's glued down really nicely. And then I'm going to layer this, or I'm going to start embellishing this, and I want to take this and make a little pocket. So I'm just going to put glue around the edges, except for the decorative part, except for the opening. So there, I'm going to glue this right to the very edge of this card. Okay, and I don't want to glue along here because that's going to be my little pocket. Okay, so that's done already, and all I need to do now, and the reason why I wanted to glue this before I punch it is because I want it to cover the entire page, okay? So now I'm going to take my punch, and like I said, you could use it with your, you can make it using your circle punch, or if you have one of these Heidi Swap punches, you can use this as well. So there, I have my little holes at the bottom, and then I want to make my tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a handmade tag. Well, I've already made a handmade tag. So this measures at 4 inches. I don't want it to be this tall because I am adding my own tab to the top. Sorry, you guys, I keep saying tag. I mean tab. So I'm going to cut this top off. I don't need that. And I'm going to add my own tab to it, which I've punched out. It looks like I'm putting a lot of glue, but really I'm not, you guys, because this is, this glue comes out very little or sparingly. Okay, and there is my top tab, all right? So then I do want to kind of finish this off by rounding the edges. So I want to do this to the corners. And then, of course, I can't stick this portion in there, so I'm going to just do it freehand. I'm going to round my own edges. There you go. All right, so there I am finished with this. I just have to write the information part of it and stick that either in here, or I could write my information back here. It's up to you guys how you want to do it. So that is it, you guys. See how easy these are to make? You can have so much fun with these, you guys, and I hope all of you guys will try making these, and I'm sure most of you guys have already tried making these, but as I had mentioned in the beginning, I love these only because it gives me a chance to see my friends' creations, and it gives me a chance to be able to store their address or their information, their phone number, their birth dates onto a card that I could file and keep forever. I hope you guys that this tutorial was very useful to you or helpful. I thoroughly enjoy making these, and I think the funnest part is receiving these from my friends. So you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.